Y'all were not unmuted.
Of course we weren't.
Wait.
Now we are. We're good.
Hey guys! Welcome to Fourth Watch! Woo woo! That was okay. That was no excitement. It's fine. So, welcome to our delightful Fourth Watch. I'm Mindy. Can we go around and just like say? I know it's like on there, but can we just go around and like say who we are?
Sure.
Starting with Camille. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Camille. I'm the Dungeon Master. And that's it. You can find me on Twitter at Camille Does D&D. Also, I am still making changes to the overlay, so
Getting all of our stuff together, you know?
like I do. There we go.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I play Alexander occasionally, and you can find me on Instagram at Revenant_ceramics.
Yeah, and I'm the only Kate on screen this time. I play Kesra, and you can find me on Twitter and everywhere important at Very Pale Ale.
What are we doing today, Mindy?
We're gonna start off with something real light and easy. I need somebody to roll me a d6.
Hang on, guys.
It's not. Hang on. I'm nervous. Okay.
I have a D6.
Okay. Will you roll us a d6 to get us started? 4. Okay. So to open this, we're gonna start with something light and kind of dumb because I'm a teacher, and sometimes you need icebreakers even when you already know each other. So our icebreaker for today is: if you had to be handcuffed to one character, who would it be?
For a month.
For a month.
Oh, for a month.
A month is a long time. Who would it be?
I'll go. Well, never mind.
No, you go first.
It would probably be Leona. I would. Like, she's a very she's a very considerate person when it comes to other people, and I feel like we would I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to strangle her, but I feel like she would be the easiest to deal with when it comes to being tied up.
Throw some tape over her mouth. It'll be fine.
So, my first gut instinct, excuse me, is to say Ray, because deadass. But as far as the main party, it would probably be Mondi, because he's so quiet.
That's fair. That's a good reason. Like the reason you wouldn't pick Leona.
And are we getting handcuffed to the person as our character or as our personal person?
I meant our personal person. That's what I was doing for me.
Personal person, but if you want to throw in both, that's fine.
Well, we know who Alexander would want to be handcuffed to.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Down that road.
I'm sorry, guess what? I had lost the key.
Fuck. Fuck.
So as
that's
Morgan,
happening. That's happening.
we have like a one-off like solo session now, please.
That would be so bad.
Let's see here. Who on the main cast would I prefer to be handcuffed to? I think I would. I think I'll go Deidre. Actually, I think your idea about Mondi being quiet is a good one, but the problem is he vomits acid in his sleep. And,
I forgot about that.
That's a good point.
Wow. Maybe I'll melt the handcuffs along with my arm.
There we go. Just.
She just will have a bucket always.
That's fair.
I think especially OG Deidre, she's very quiet, she's very reserved, so she's just not gonna be, it's gonna be fine. Might have to hear a bit too much about Ektiarn.
That's fair.
But
my patron might be able to help us.
Exactly, but even new Deidre is perfectly quiet. I mean, she's even quieter. She's stealthy and we can go on hikes and it's not terrible. So.
That's true.
What about you, Mindy?
So I'm gonna throw a shocker out there. I'm gonna pick Kestra, and here's why. I don't want to be handcuffed to someone for a month. And if there's anybody that is going to find a way to get out of the handcuffs when the month is over, it's gonna be Kestra. And if I have Kestra handcuffed to my hand, my mom will welcome me in with open arms. To
be fair, your mom did say in the comments that she would rather be handcuffed to Kesra, so
that sounds. I 100% yes.
To be fair, if you were handcuffed to Kesra, she would be super fucking aggravated about it, but also she would be doing her damnedest to act like it wasn't happening.
Oh my god, that's so good.
But I mean, she doesn't want to be handcuffed to me. I am similar enough to Leona that she does not want to be handcuffed to me for very long.
I think Kestra would be okay handcuffed to me for a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably.
All right, guys. So
handcuffed to nobody though.
Now we're gonna move. Okay, that was a nice little icebreaker. Thank you guys for participating. That's gonna be our new thing at the beginning of Fourth Watch. So get ready. What are you?
I saw Juva's comment about Kesra.
Oh my gosh. Moving on from the icebreaker, because that's all that was supposed to be. What have been the most surprising moments for you and your character? What were the moments that made you go, wait, what?
Huh?
And I feel like we've had a lot of those moments. So maybe we've got a lot of recent stuff going on.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff has happened recently. So what things have been the most shocking either to your character or to you as a player?
It's difficult to go back and think about that because everything that's been super shocking, I've gone back and reanalyzed so many times and talked about so many times that there's not as shocking anymore. I think in character, there's a couple of shocking things. Obviously, when Alexander called her Dimples, that was fun. That was a fun in-character shock.
That was a golden moment.
By the way, we've had art of that done.
Yes, it's my laptop background right now, and I love it.
So good.
And I think, obviously, the Sinestra head was a big old shock. I think a smaller shock, really, was that Kestra hasn't quite thought about yet, was the fact that Maudie said what he said to Xanalor while everybody was sitting there. And he was throwing back, quite obviously throwing back what Xanalor was saying throwing serious shade about Xanalor and Kestra. I think she was not expecting that. And like many things, she has not internalized it yet. She is there was a lot happening at that point in time, but later I think it'll really hit her. That was definitely a quieter surprise moment in character. So much about you?
I think the hard part about this question for me is A, I don't have a character. But B, I think
So turn it on its head. What was the most surprising thing that one of us has done that you didn't?
That's what I was trying to think about. And you guys are really good at surprising me, or you guys are really good at being improvisational and making stuff up as you go. I think I just
know our characters well enough that
I think that's the problem. I think that I know your characters too well that I'm rarely ever surprised. And I don't mean to sound full of myself or anything, but I help make these characters, and I sit here and I watch you guys play week after week after week. So I think it's really hard to surprise me, and I'm so my DMing style, as you guys know, is super flexible, and I just I roll with everything you throw at me. So I'm sitting here, I'm trying to think of things that have surprised me. I think I will tell you what, we're gonna have a throwback.
Yes.
when you guys decided to go and talk to that one kid who had survived the plague in that town in the second session, and you were like, let's go talk to him. And I'm like, guys, just deal with what's in front of you. And you were like, no, we're gonna go talk to this kid. I had to make up everything on the spot, and that's how we led to that decision for you guys to follow that trail led to you guys finding a Lich's phylactery on a natural 20 on investigation check, which led to Deirdre giving that Lich's phylactery to her patron, which led to the creation of the Mad Lich King.
No big deal. This is fine.
Who killed her patron.
It's fine.
And I will say, so I think Deirdre and Monty surprised me simply because Kate was so dedicated to Deirdre and Ektiarn when we first made our character. And I made a lot of decisions based on that, as you can tell. Ektiarn made a lot of decisions based on that. So I think that was a pretty big surprise for me, that we have kind of just seen it play out.
What about you?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I do recall when Deirdre told Kestra about Xanalor being Hezgrin. You were very, very surprised.
I remember your reaction to that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
We heard your surprise from her mic.
Yep.
I think the other time that's happened is when I called Kestra Dimples the first time, because I had talked with Kate because I wanted to make sure that the nickname was cool beforehand before I gave it to her, but nobody else.
Guy.
And
I lost my shit.
I remember hearing your voice on Kate's.
It's great. Those are my favorite moments when we can hear Camille. Mike, I know we've done something right. Someone has done something right. We have inched closer to winning D&D. That's how we know.
Yeah. That and when my head hits the table.
Also that.
I think my most surprising moment in character, was the time that Alexander was most surprised was honestly probably when when he fell into his own basement and got revealed as a necromancer. Like that was not supposed to happen.
Sorry, that was my horse's fault. My bad, you guys.
I'm so proud of myself for that. I can't even tell you, because I'm like, her horse is like, I'm fucking hungry, bitch, and walks into the house. It's not a regular horse, and so her steed, and he I was like, okay, this is a house. This is not meant to support a horse.
No, and it's got like a false basement and stuff. Like
exactly.
It's not. So in character, that's probably the most surprised that Alexander has been. As a player, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Can you think of as a player and then versus as a viewer?
Sure. I think as a player, it's actually fairly recent. Was when I cast a 5th level counterspell and I had to roll to counterspell a fireball.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Comments about that one, yeah.
But that was definitely very surprising as a player. Like, but wait, what do you mean I have to roll? This is a fireball spell. He's not upcasting this.
Well,
everybody dies.
Everybody.
And then as a viewer, most surprising. That's a tough one. I think one of the more surprising things was when the very first Horned Devil showed up. Because I think that was the first real, nasty combat you guys were in. Like, you guys have been in combat before, but they have been relatively balanced for your level. And I DM a couple other games, and so I know what a Horned Devil is. And I'm like, this is a CR 11 monster for CR, like for a group that's like level 5 or 4 or something like that. I'm like, what the shit is Camille doing?
I feel like Morgan thinks that a lot about my That's kind of one of the pitfalls about having another DM be in your campaign, is because they like, other DMs know kind of like the deal, and so when you do something that's unexpected, sometimes you get like, whenever I'm in another game and someone does something unexpected, I'm like, what the fuck, this is not D&D.
This is not D&D, this is wrong.
Your friend is wrong.
That was like me when the Pit Fiend took legendary actions. I was real fired up about
When
that.
Alexander or Morgan, when he took 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
know that I homebrew stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
I could sense you guys, like, I could feel it. I could feel like the burn. I'm like, guys, just trust me. Just trust me.
I didn't have any burn. I was just really scared. Okay.
Did you answer that question, Mindy?
Oh no, I didn't. Okay, so most surprising moment for me. I'm gonna do Leona first. I think Leona was a little taken aback by how open Kestra was when she asked about the like.
Have you ever been in love?
Expecting like a very vague, I'm answering this question so that I can say I answered this question, but I'm really not gonna go into detail. And like that's the most detail Kestra's ever given. So I think that was kind of a shock for Leona. Like I'm thinking small scale. There's been a lot of everything shocks her, so it's fine.
To be fair, she almost got the super vague answer for the sake of answering, but she asked the right question. And also Kestra was drunk. And anything to not think about the topic that she had just been given was very much appreciated.
Yeah.
It was
a good conversation.
Right place, right time for Leona.
Yeah. And I think for me, most surprising moment for me, and I keep thinking of this last session. because there was so much that happened, like RP wise, and I was surprised at. Can I say 2 things? Is that
Sure, of course.
I
This
was
is your
surprised. I was a little surprised by Mondi kind of sticking it to Xanalor a little bit, like there at the end, like that little clap back that was like a little subtle, but like not subtle, but it was like kind of like. And I was also really surprised at Leona's reaction to Xanalor, because I knew she wanted to talk to him, but I had a lot of different ideas of how it could play out, and it never played out like that in my head. Getting that angry. So I guess those are probably mine for that. Wow, 1 question down, guys. We're on a roll. I'm really excited about this next question, though. So how does the party feel about Deirdre's new interrogation methods? This is a very different side of Deirdre. We've seen a lot of growth with her, a lot of changes happening. How do we feel about this? This is a very different side of Deirdre that we haven't really seen. How does the party feel about it, and in general?
I will let you guys answer this. I'm gonna message KK or CK really quick.
Me?
I have questions.
You have questions?
Yep. Mainly, what are you eating?
Pretzels.
Yeah, but
What
like,
else?
in what? What are you
In my
dipping it in?
hand? Oh, sauce.
What
You guys
kind of
are-
sauce?
Special sauce. It's my sauce. Leave me alone.
All right. I'm sorry. I did not mean to deal real. Please continue with your character
sauce.
answer to this question.
You guys are so weird. And Camille, feel free to input as DM or because you've seen. I mean, in her, this is a big moment. I feel like in seeing her growth. So feel free to input as DM or as Ray or another NPC, because Ray's pretty close to this group, I would say. So.
I mean, Kestra's down for it. Somebody else has to do the unfortunate
The
stuff,
dirty work.
and now, yeah, And I mean, certainly one way to get things done. Not the first time she's seen anything like that happen. And now she's a little less concerned about Deirdre not dying. You know?
And I mean, like, Alexander has no problems with it whatsoever. He's a little surprised, not because of what Deirdre did, but because she actually got something out of a devil by intimidating it.
Mm-hmm.
If he had seen Deirdre do this to a human, he might have been worried. But this is the devil. Like, who cares?
Leona cares? Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead and answer with Leona, and then I'll answer as a DM.
Okay, so I'm... part of me's torn between... Because Leona, as far as Leona knows, nothing happened. She didn't see it. She hasn't heard about it. If she had, I don't really know how she would have reacted, because it does matter. Even though it is a devil, it does matter to Leona that those are the methods that are being used. I don't know how that would have. I don't know. Honestly, I think there would have had to have been a conversation between Leona and Deirdre about it before Leona was like, okay, this may not be terrible. And I'm sure Leona would have gotten over it eventually, but I think there would have been that initial like, this isn't right. We can't do this. This would no. She definitely wouldn't have been able to watch. So I don't know.
It'll be a good time. What are you chuckling about?
The chat.
What?
So, my answer to this question is that I think that I'm really proud of Deirdre's character development, personally. I think Deirdre is learning how not to be a martyr. I think she's learning how to be smart in combat, which makes sense for her. Because I think in the beginning it made sense for her not to know about combat. She just spent 10 years in the Feywild with Ectyon protecting her. But now she's realizing that in order to survive in this world, she has to do things for herself and not rely on everybody else to always protect her. And that if she wants to keep her friends safe from her own choices, she's got to be able to be strong enough to keep up with that. I was really excited when I saw her. So Kate actually asked me about this. You guys know I asked my players if you guys have any requests that feel free to ask, and I'm more than happy to accommodate as long as it's reasonable. And Kate asked me, she's like, I want to have Deirdre interrogate a devil? And I said, of course. So we worked it into the session. We didn't have a plan for it or anything. I just gave her an imp to kind of deal with. And she performed beautifully, and I just, my only regret is that more people weren't around to see it. That's my main regret. Mm-hmm. But I think that Kate and Deirdre did beautifully with that, and I am looking forward to more of that in the future.
Yeah. Solid answer. So, Morgan, a question, I guess, for you and the DM, because Kate and I do not know the answer. What did Mondi learn from Alexander?
We're actually... I know, and I think that Camille knows, but that is actually currently being roleplayed on some IRP right now. So that'll probably get released to Patreon shortly. Sometime when we eventually finish the RP.
Right.
And in order to get access to this, you will have to be a Patreon patron. I hate saying that. Patreon patron. It sounds so dumb. And you'll have to subscribe to Stolen Moments. for it's the $3 tier. So you can give them a little bit a hint of what they would be getting into.
it is a spell. It is a necromancy spell. But it is nothing that has to deal with like raising the dead, etc. And it wasn't the crazy bone spear that I fired off. So,
which is a Morgan homebrewed spell.
Yeah, that was terrifying. Absolutely, completely terrifying.
That one was fun. Me and Camille actually collaborated on a different spell that I haven't had a chance yet to use. That wasn't particularly. It wouldn't have been particularly useful in the fight we were in. So I haven't used it yet. But who knows?
Maybe one day.
I love that.
Yeah.
One day. Okay, so become a patron so you can read it. Because it's going to be great. If you want to know what that spell is, you're going to have to join.
I mean, I have a feeling people will find out sooner rather than later, but...
Yeah, but if you want...
But you want to see the process. You want to see
if you want to see what it looked like for Alexander to teach Moldy that spell, you can read the IMRP that we post in Patreon.
We got some good shit in there.
And it is linked in our chat, so check it out.
And if, in case you're watching a VOD of this, the URL is patreon.com/open FOR adventure, open for adventure.
Perfect. All right, Kate, I'm gonna swing this one a little more towards you this time.
Okay, all right.
And again, also throwing in our DM again. Sorry, DM, you're just in all of these.
It'd be like that.
Is there a chance of Kestra ever reconciling with her father?
Xanalor Silvarian?
Yes, Xanalor Silvarian.
Take it away, Kate.
Well, short answer, probably not. Long answer, there's always a chance. There's always a chance. I think that additional information about certain things needs to be given. I think that Kestra needs to grow a little bit more as a person. And I think that she needs to, if it's going to happen, one, she definitely needs extraneous information that she was not given. Whether the person didn't know it or didn't have it, doesn't matter. And she also needs to get to a place where she decides that opening that door again, to use your wonderful analogy, opening that door again is worth the effort that would have to be given. Because she firmly believes that she's perfectly fine without it. And to be fair, she is. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't need. It's nice and it's wonderful, and I love my parents dearly, but there are many, many, many people that have been perfectly happy, successful people without those figures in their lives. So she doesn't need it. At no point will she ever need it. But needing and wanting are different things. Right now, she has no desire. None. But 12 levels from now? Who knows?
So Camille, can you give us any insight on...
Sure. I'm actually more than happy to talk about this since it might not ever come up. I'm more than happy to kind of share it. So Xanalor, for those of you guys who don't know, Xanalor had 3 children with his wife, his partner Venvir, who is an Eladrin. He had his oldest son Soren, he had his oldest daughter Viara, and his youngest daughter Deala. After some, their mother worked in the Silence, runs the Silence, which is an organization. And Xanalor is a council member of the Divine Covenant, and usually these two parties, these two factions, are against each other. But sometimes they align, and they align in one particular area, and we're not going to go into that yet. And so that's how these two met. However, when Xanalor and Venvir decided to have children, Xanalor felt this massive responsibility because he was continuing his line, his lineage. It put a lot of responsibility on his children. Particularly the daughters. They noticed that I'll give you a quick spoiler. They noticed that their son did not actually carry a lot of that lineage from his side of the family. It's a lot of traits seem to skip over Soren and go directly to the daughters.
You're doing very well at being specific and vague at the same time.
It's great.
You're doing really well because I'm curious. More questions and answers.
So,
Of course.
when Xanalor realized that Venvir was starting to see their children as more than as not their children, but as these vessels, these resources, these items of power, that's when Xanalor became concerned. And when he made the decision to take his daughters and drop them off in different homes and do other things with, you don't know what happened to the second daughter, but to especially take Kesra, who was the oldest daughter, to take her and place her in the foster home of this half-orc Wilma, he knew what he was doing. He knew that any chance of having a normal relationship with this young woman, he knew that they were gone. He knew that any chance of him getting to see her grow up to be this young woman he wanted her to be, that he was going to have to do very carefully, from behind a curtain, from behind a disguise, from in the shadows. He knew that. And it has always killed him as a father, especially because he loves his children. He loves his children, he felt like, more than Venvir did as their mother. And the things that he did were, and still do, are always for them. Now, if you watch the last session, he sounds a bit resigned. He sounds like, I'm not going to approach Kesra because she doesn't want that. He knows that about her. Believe it or not, if there is anybody in this campaign who knows Kesra, it's her father. Because he has kept tabs on her ever since he dropped her off. He never for a moment stopped thinking about her, never for a moment stopped praying for her, never in a moment stopped loving her. He has always done everything with her and his other daughter in mind. And so the fact that Kesra does not want to have that relationship with him, that does not bother. I mean, it bothers him on a level that, like, he had long ago accepted that that's how it was going to be. But this is a man who sacrificed his relationship with his only daughters to keep them safe. Their safety is his priority, not his own comfort. And so if one day his daughters are reunited with him, or if Kesra ever wants to be with him again, or like have a conversation with him, he is more than happy to have it. But he knows that the best thing that he can do, the best thing that he has ever been able to do for Kesra, is to let her be exactly as she is.
Jeez. That's a lot.
That's like the one thing they agree on, y'all.
That's why you have Leona. Then we're gonna give y'all some time, and then like we gonna figure this out. It's fine.
No.
Okay. Okay.
I will
You go
say,
ahead and think that.
yeah, Xanalor very much loves his daughter, but that is exactly why he will not try to like reconcile, is because he respects her as an adult now.
Fine. Leona's pretty convincing when she needs to be. So, anyway, I got lost where I am. Oh, okay. So, DM, I have a question for you. And I don't know how much of it you're gonna be able to answer, so I'm gonna like throw some options your general direction, and like you can kind of pick and choose what you feel like you can answer. So we have seen a lot of the Imperial Army around. Do the rebellions, like cities that are like on the rebellion side, do they have a standing army? Like, are we just not seeing that as much because of where we are? I mean, when we're out and about on the roads, we're seeing mostly Imperial Army, at least right now. So is there a reason for that? Is it our location? Is it
part of it? So I'm gonna be. You guys might know this about me. I don't know if you guys know this about me. I do not have a lot of experience with the military. I have had to actually consult outside of like my normal group to kind of have an idea of how to run this war. However, that is not why you have not been seeing them.
There is a reason.
There is a reason.
Okay.
you guys did get to see the Wolfcrest army
Right.
fighting against the Imperial army when the Imperial army was coming to take over
siege.
Wolfcrest. The siege. Yes.
Right.
You got a glimpse at what maybe kind of firepower Azmorin has. Keep in mind that Azmorin is the only city, quote unquote, now they are supposedly becoming a kingdom, who has firepower, who has guns, because their rulers invented them and refused to sell them. So luckily, I'll give you a hint. Like the Azmorin army is not as big, but because they have firepower, it doesn't have to be. I'll go ahead and tell you that they are working on recruiting mercenaries and seeing who they can bring over. And there's more. This war at this point is still very political.
Right.
It's still very political, and it's less fighting in the streets.
Okay. Got it.
In fact, almost all of the fighting that has gone on, you guys have seen. You guys have been present for.
Okay.
Good question. Okay, so we've had... Thanks, DM, by the way, for that information. It was great. We've had a lot of RP this past session. Like, it was a heavy RP, lots of conversation, that kind of session. Is there a moment where a conversation that happened that really defines where your character is? Or kind of, yeah.
I think that there's been a couple of conversations in the last like 2 or 3, I think, that have really pointed to where Kesra is, or has been. I think that a lot of, especially the last conversation with Leona, we had mentioned earlier that it was right time, right place for Leona to ask that specific question, because not only was Kesra plastered, but also she was trying to think about anything but the fact that she now thinks that one of her most important parental figures was a lie the entire time, which she wasn't, but she didn't know that. Beside the point. And so she needed something else to talk about. But I think that if that had happened in the earlier campaign, even the same scenario, she would have just told Leona to go away. And
she has before.
She has. And I think that the fact that she did not tell Leona to go away, and that she did not just simply not answer and let it be real awkward and quiet, like she has done before and is not afraid to do. But consequently also believing Deirdre when Deirdre told her about that is another step showing that as much as she doesn't want to admit it, she is getting much closer with these people than she has with anyone in a long time. And going back a couple sessions, sharing what happened in her dream from Paylor with the group, and having that super serious dad talk moment in the forest when we're going to the well, just shows that she's fucking committed. She doesn't want to be. She really hates it, but by God, she's gonna do it.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting considering there was a time when Kesra was about to abandon her party.
Yes.
If you guys remember, when you guys were rescuing Maudie, Kesra saw the fireball and she turned and she ran.
Yep. She tried to leave twice.
She tried to run twice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes. And that was I thought it was a great moment.
Yeah. She said, "Fireball, fuck no." Nope, deuces. I'm not getting paid for this.
Too much. I'm out.
Bye.
I don't know y'all. Bye. Bye.
But that was a lot of conversation that me and the DM had to have.
Mm-hmm.
A lot was once we got to Asmarin, I literally told her I don't know how she's gonna stay.
Yeah.
I cannot think of a reason for her to stay. So there are actually like 1 or 2 episodes that she's just kind of like bucking around with him because she didn't have anything better to do. But also her life wasn't in danger. So then when her life got in danger, she's like, never mind. This ain't fun anymore. See you later. And then Paylor said, fuck you. Do your job. Do your damn job.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a lot of bad words happening.
And it's interesting, because Kesra owes Paylor. Whether she wants to believe that or not, Paylor considers that she owes him a debt. And he has given her a way to pay that off.
Yep. Yep. But like, yep. It's a little bit easier now. Sorry, it's fine. It's a little bit easier now because she can view it as a job. She's not getting paid in the same way she normally is. But, I don't think anybody can afford anything more valuable than, the lives and souls of every living creature on the planet. So, it's kind of a steep bargain. So that makes her feel better about it. But she does. She does. She owes him a debt.
Neil Morgan.
So I'm a bad guest and I need cue cards. What was the question again?
The question was, we had a lot of RP this past session. Is there a moment or conversation that you feel really defines where your character is right now?
Oh. So in the last session or just in general?
I guess it could be in general.
So, I'm just a guest character, so I haven't had a whole lot of screen time. But in the last session, I think it was probably his kind of farewell talk to the group of basically just like, be safe and whatnot, but definitely also talking to Kesra about how she's important. He knows stuff about her and kind of what she's like, what meaning being heir to the Veldaharan means, and that's also something that in theory will eventually be on Patreon. But he has talked to her about how she is important or has important parts to play. So he's very much a character that he's not moved by much. He's a pretty he's not callous, but he's very calculating, and because he has had to been, because of what he is, he like very at a fairly young age he realized he needed to hide what he was and not show off that he was really good at necromancy. Like, he's not great at most other magic. He's surprised. He has an innate feeling for it.
Yeah.
And so he's been hiding a lot, and not much really affects him. But he realizes, especially after the trip to the well, that these 4 people are surprisingly important to the general future.
Are we though?
But he also knows that he's gotten close to Kesra, and he knows that she doesn't think much of herself.
Big mood.
But he knows that. Obviously, he kind of wants her to think well of herself, just kind of in a general, like, being a good person type thing. But he also knows, like, legitimately if anything we saw in the well is true, then everything we saw in the well is true. And that means that Kesra is way more important than she puts on.
Yeah.
Can she, like, trade with somebody? I think she'd rather vomit acid, honestly.
So I would like to make a comment here really quick. When the sessions were first starting and we were in session, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it became pretty clear pretty quickly that these characters were very important to the world at large. And that's partly my DM style. I know there are people out there who are like, the characters shouldn't be superheroes right off the bat. I mean, first of all, they're not heroes. Second of all, but I run a very character immersive game, and so there's a lot that has to do with the characters themselves. Except it became pretty clear very obviously. Leona was very important to Roman. We didn't know why. Maudie was very important to Dragon Daddy. Deirdre seemed like the most the most special fate touch character there was. She had the attention of this god. This archfey, and the silence. They asked about Maudie, they asked about Deirdre, they asked about Leona. They did not ask about Kesra. Like, nobody gave a fuck about Kesra.
Nobody.
She was so unimportant. Nobody bothered to ask about her. Ektiern did not warn Deirdre about Kesra. He warned Deirdre about Maudie. Like, people were not talking about Kesra, and to throw in there at the well to kind of like throw in this hint that Kesra might be the most important of them all. So satisfying for me. So satisfying to be like, you thought.
She almost didn't. She almost did not ask the question at the well. She almost didn't. We almost didn't know any of that. She really didn't want to. Well, she wanted to know the answer. She didn't want everybody else to know the answer.
That's real. Kesra doesn't want anyone to know any answers.
That's true. That is damn true. Mind your business. Mind your business.
So I have two, and they're different places of where Leona's at. They both happened last session. First of all was the conversation with Deirdre. The whole wrestling with this idea of, oh, this was a victory, this was a win, but like so many people died. Like, is this really a win? She's not really seen combat like this, where innocent people are just being slaughtered. So this was that conversation is a good define, like where she's at mentally in that regard. And also the conversation with Kesra, I think is kind of, I don't know if it necessarily defines where she's at, but I think it's helping her figure out where she's at. I'm interested to see how that continues to unfold. Camille, did you have anything that you wanted to throw out for anybody? I mean,
Ray's still here, and it's got to be for more than Leona. I mean, does it? Does it? Technically, I guess Kestra's also here for Leona, so.
Ray is still with the party. At first it was kind of like a dual part, because he was with party for Leona, and then Marshall is with the party to protect all of them, and we found out that Marshall is his father. Now things might start to change. We don't know. It depends. It depends a lot on what happens in the next few sessions. So, we'll see.
We'll see. Do you want to add anything to that? Like, you might want to add. Do you want to add anything?
Am I missing something? Did you ask a question that I've missed?
Oh no, it was just like, was there
in general?
a moment or a conversation that kind of establishes where, I guess in this case, Ray.
Yeah, so for Ray, something that kind of, I think the biggest change, or the biggest moment that kind of struck Ray that we've seen was when Leona followed him to Xandrin's house. Ray attempted to get a very powerful wizard on their side, and this wizard's name is Xandrin. And Xandrin also happens to be Ray's ex-boyfriend. Now, Ray went to go talk to Xandrin, and Xandrin's kind of his deal for coming to help this party was for Ray to kind of give him another chance. And Leona ended up following him and eventually kind of broke things up. She intervened, and when Ray saw her, Ray knew she was there. And as they were leaving, Ray turned to Leona and said, "What are you doing?" And I think that was the first time we've seen Ray kind of, it's not that he was unkind to Leona, it's just that he was kind of pulled himself out of this very understanding, very gentle prince that we've seen, this very gentle paladin, and turned into like this real person who is like confused and hurt and lost. So I think that was really fun. And to kind of, I know Mindy ended up not feeling great about that afterwards.
She should have felt good because Xandrin's creepy AF.
Xandrin is a character,
and I mean,
he's manipulative.
What I said to Mindy at the time was, Leona just learned that she had been emotionally manipulated for the sake of love and just being used for almost her entire life. And then she sat there and watched someone she cares about very much almost get emotionally manipulated as well. So it just made sense. I think she was very nice considering.
The impulsive follow was a very Leona decision.
It was.
And it everything that kind of followed. I do think she was a little taken aback by Ray after the fact. I do think it was very appropriate. I think he was, frustrated, and reasonably so, because it's like you said, just confused. Like I don't, and I think that came across, and was appropriate for the moment, even though it was only a very brief moment before he became Prince
again. Yeah.
But yes, that was a moment. So, I'm gonna go back because we've kind of been dancing around this idea of Kestra, having concerns at the beginning of whether or not Kestra, having those conversations of okay, Kestra's gonna stay with them. Was there a backup plan? If Kestra had lost the bet, was she still gonna take them?
So,
was there a plan, or did we just luck out on the rolls?
So the bet was not whether or not she would go. The bet was whether or not she would get paid. And she is a mercenary. She had been a mercenary for a decade. She does things to get paid for money. And so the group had asked her to help them get to Azmorin, and she's like, sure, I'll do it if you give me 10 gold, because I know you can, because I just saw you get 10 gold from this lady. And she's like, sure, you pay me, I'll get you there, not a problem, easy peasy. She was actually probably in the best mood in that first session than she was for the next 20 sessions, because that's what put her in a bad mood to begin with, was the fact that she had to do it for free. And then not only did she have to do it for free, but she had to deal with the Lich's phylactery for free and cultists for free. And that's when she ditched, because she wasn't doing a fireball for free. All right. And so that affected her mood for the next 20 frickin' sessions, because she felt like she got duped into it, and then she no longer had a choice, and then she wasn't getting anything out of it. But I think that if she had won, then honestly, it probably would have been the same result. I don't think that anything would have changed. She just would have been
10 gold less.
You would have had 10 gold less. She would have had
10 gold more.
Exactly, and she would have been a little bit cheerier.
Monty doesn't lose bets, though.
Monty does not lose bets, little shit.
So I would like to counter that point, because that boy is terrible at gambling. I mean, and maybe it's just the roles, but like the only time, I mean, granted, I think I've only seen him gamble like twice, but right now he's 50-50 for bets on whether or not it's tough.
Oh, poor Nevin.
Love his heart.
Yeah. So long story short, nothing really would have changed. She may have more cheerfully hung around a little bit more to see if you guys would pay her to do anything else. But nothing really would have changed, essentially.
So I got a question. Before the open kiss in Fieldcrest, what did Leona think Kestra and Alexander's relationship was? This is a really good question because she has seen them sneak off to like share a room.
Sneak.
Yeah.
There was no sneaking. Y'all were both real intoxicated. I think it probably perplexes her a little bit. I mean, she did ask Kestra if Alexander was the like person that she was in love with. So I think that kind of gives you an idea of where Leona, because I mean, she's just a romantic. She just assumes, oh, they're in love. It's great. It's beautiful. I think she recognizes that there is some separation, obviously. But I think she probably wondered, and I think that probably only Eskel is seeing them kiss in public has now confused her more. Then that happens, and it's just very confusing for her. So yeah, I think she was probably in her head trying to figure it out, but also, I mean, in some of the IMRPs that we have done, she is matchmaking is her part-time job. Like, let's call it how it is. Mm-hmm. So I think even if she didn't think I think she saw that there was a connection, and she was 100% prepared to encourage that connection, foster an environment where that connection could grow and develop into something more, perhaps one day.
There were a lot of connections, yes.
But oh my God. But yeah, I think she saw it as like a spark of like, can I work with this? I think that's mostly what she saw it as. And now she's just real confused. Y'all confusing her. So I have a lighter question. What is the funniest thing? And we've had a lot of funny things, so I know there are some recent ones that are like particularly great. But what are some of the funniest things that have happened in this campaign?
100% Dimples. 100%.
Dimples is great.
So, I mean, I loved that. I loved being a part of that and doing that to the rest of the crew. But honestly, for me, like as a watcher and stuff, I think one of the funniest things I have seen was the fucking roof scenario y'all did in that one town. Like the nonsense y'all did. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna fly up to the roof, and then you're stuck on the roof, and no one goes to get a goddamn ladder.
Y'all are such fucking so I'm always amazed at y'all's ability to problem solve, and I'm also always amazed at y'all's ability to be fucking idiots. Like that roof episode, Deirdre was like, I'm just gonna and that's the thing is like Kate's like, oh, whenever she has a problem, she's like, oh, Deirdre will just sprout wings, and I'm like, for 60 seconds, sure.
It doesn't solve problems.
It was just one bad decision after another.
And Monty's like, I'm gonna climb, and I'm like,
and then Leona saw it and was like, I'm gonna climb, and then she did, and then we had two people trapped on the roof. But initially it was just jump, I'll catch you.
And then Leona just jumps off the roof.
Oh, did I? I don't remember this.
You fucking did.
Because I had to run and catch you.
Everyone took damage except for Deirdre. Literally, everybody took damage from a roof.
Yeah, because Monty climbed and got like part of the way up and fell.
He rolled a nat 1 and fell.
Took some damage catching me.
And then Leona fell on Kestra, and they both took damage.
Yes. Thanks.
Yeah, for me, I mean, like I definitely love Dimples, but the roof episode was my favorite, funniest moment. So
it's great. I really
I'll
like the
stress me
horse
out.
moment. I really liked the first time Red spoke to Kesra in her brain.
Yes.
That was...
Forgot about that.
It was just a horse staring into the window. Just staring into the window.
Those interactions with Red and Kestra are great in general.
I love playing Red. I do. Red. I'll tell you what. Red is unexpected. Red was how important Red has ended up being has kind of been I've made decisions on the fly for her to be this way, because it just made sense in the moment. And you guys know me. I just go with it. But now Red has developed into something that is so much more than just a summoned steed, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I would argue that Red is probably one of the few people that Kestra is not reluctant to go to. It might be because she's a horse that can only talk to her, so she doesn't have to like worry about any of the stupid shit she asks going around, except to like maybe Paylor, but like fuck that guy, who cares? But yeah, no, Kesra definitely. I guess it's just that paladin bond. But I think she would much rather go to Red for just about everything right now.
Yeah.
So.
There were a lot of funny moments that came into my head.
What do I feed a fucking horse? Does he have any hay?
Like,
does he have a car? Like what do I?
At first, the thing that came to my head first was obvious. I mean, the most recent one was that whole drunk. Where Deirdre and Leona are trying to play parents to all you drunk jerk faces was gold. Absolute gold. The Kesra and Ray interaction during that was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
One of my faves. But some other up there moments. Oh dang! I had so many in my head and now they all just left. I know there was one episode where we were literally laughing so hard. I think it was your NPC.
No, it was the store name. It was the store name.
It was, I don't know, it was like a series of we just couldn't stop. We had to take a break because we were laughing. I don't even really know if it was that funny.
It wasn't. I don't think so. I think what wasn't it in the little town with the ghost guy?
Yep. And there was a bakery, and I was trying to come up with a store name, and
they were siblings or something.
The other moment that I thought was great was when we stole the letter out of Kestra's bag, and we're sending messages to each other. Shh, don't tell her. Don't tell her.
She had no idea.
What?
No
Bugbears.
Oh yeah, the bugbears.
Oh
that
yeah.
continuing trend is I still love it. Leona hates
so
it.
awesome.
I love it.
It's wonderful.
I love that it keeps coming up.
You've got a bugbear in your hair.
Oh yeah, when Kestra said she was from Place, still a gold. That was early, but that was still a golden moment.
That was pretty awesome.
Place.
Yeah.
For the capital
P.
See, that sounds like a perfect Dimension of Dread type thing of one shot thing. The characters get stuck somewhere and where are you? Oh, this place.
Yes.
Right by town.
Right by town.
A little northeast of town. Yeah.
I read a lot of books. Okay. So we're talking a little bit, the chat kind of talking a little bit about Sinestra. So, and we've talked a little bit about Red, we talked about Ray. So what are some of our favorite NPCs we've met in character that we like out of character? I just remembered mine because it was going to connect to one of my funny scenes that I just remembered.
Go ahead.
Or favorite that you have played.
You guys start this.
I will start so I don't forget my thing again. I really like the really excitable wizard. Great. And I'm ready for him to be best friends with us.
I think I told you guys, that guy is how I imagine. Have you guys ever seen those comics where it's Dumbledore usually freaking out about something Hermione did? They're little hand-drawn comics. He's she's a witch burner!
Yes.
That's what you imagine.
That is, I imagine, what if Dumbledore had negative wisdom? What if Dumbledore was a fucking idiot? And that's what I went with.
It's just, I just love him. I mean, I'm real big on NPCs, and you do NPCs very well. I mean, obviously, I like Ray, but I might be a little biased. I don't know. But I think beyond going for the obvious Ray answer, I think come back to me because I'm wrestling with 3 right now. Let me see if I can.
I have a lot. I can't choose just one.
Maybe you'll knock one of mine out.
Partial to red, like for obvious reasons. Love Sinestra. I'm real sad she's dead now. I was kind of hoping for a wonderful, sarcastic, blunt reunion, because that was great. Love Sinestra. Also, can't not love the good Captain Amelia Burke. She was only there for like 0.5 seconds, but I can't stop calling her the good Captain Amelia Burke. I just love her still. I love her lots.
She's a very important character to this world.
So,
yeah.
I'm kind of hoping that she shows up again at some point somehow. I would really enjoy that.
On the offline campaign, we got to see her. She saved us.
Jealous. Kester wants to get saved by Amelia Burke.
I'm sure she does. What about you, Morgan?
It's tough. I definitely liked Sinestra. She was pretty great.
She did. Man.
Who else?
Her head is in a box now.
Yeah, I know. There's definitely a love-hate relationship, but Roman is pretty fucking
I was gonna say Roman.
Good. Like, I mean, he is creepy AF, and
fuck Roman.
Yeah.
I mean, true,
but I do have a soft spot in my heart for some NPCs we didn't get to see at the wedding that I want to see eventually, but your characters are gonna have to get back to Azmorin for us to see them. So,
are they Lightbringer characters?
They are not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to see more of the very large family that I have written out shown in the campaign, but I have a feeling they're taking a bit of a backseat.
Who are you talking about, Morgan?
You know exactly who I'm talking about. Who I want to see.
I don't.
Okay, great.
So there is a certain Archduchess.
Yes. Okay. Madam
I don't appreciate
Ponderbottom. You have seen her in a one shot.
The half orc with the wig.
Yes.
The half elf. Rude.
Elf? I thought she was a half orc.
She is a half elf. She just has she has a skin condition.
Yes.
Oh, that's
she has a skin condition.
Excuse me.
It's a shame, really.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But we didn't get to see her or her manservant at the wedding. But if they do get to show up, that would be pretty cool. But those are just characters that haven't shown up. But it's a little cheating. But
they are there. Yes, they are there.
Yeah, I think Roman is probably one of my favorites, just because he's so wonderful to hate. Like, he's just
I'm gonna tag on to the Roman thing, because I think one of the reasons don't get me wrong, I hate him. Like Morgan said, he's a good character that you love to hate. But I think what I really like is how you've kind of played him. Because I don't think it started off as like, whoa, this dude's like really creepy. Like, it just wasn't, but it like slowly became more obvious. And now that we know the truth, there's just like I get a sick feeling in my stomach, which is like a good thing. Yeah. I think you've really unveiled his terribleness in a very effective way throughout the campaign. I think you've done a very good job at that. I think that's one of the reasons he is so good at being, like, it's so easy to hate him. Like, he's a character you love to hate because you've done so well in, like, revealing who he really is.
I also like, Mindy, you've pointed out privately to me the similarities sometimes, not the similarities, but the contrast between him and Ray. How they are similar, but they're different in the ways that make it different, you know? Because they're both of similar backgrounds. They both have the same, almost the same upbringing. They have,
yeah. And then my other like goat is, I mean, obviously, Hugh. I just love her. I think the best idea, like, I just can never forget when Kestra was just casually petting this fox, right? She was a fox.
She was all of a sudden, tails, yeah.
A very large fox.
That's right. And then all of a sudden she was a
naked human.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It was still a great moment.
That was a fun moment. Kestra was 100% caught off guard. She didn't. I don't even remember what she did. She just
stood there.
You like awkwardly stopped and then but you just. Did you stop? Actually, I don't know if you stopped.
I don't remember if she stopped.
I don't either.
I don't remember if he stopped. I think he paused. I don't remember if you actually stopped, though.
I don't either. It was weird. I have to rewatch that now.
I almost picked Kiyu as my cosplay for Gen Con.
That's a bold cosplay decision.
It's Camille.
It is me. You guys know I don't mind. I also, my thing was that, like, I was already going to have a lot of stuff in my mind, and I was feeling uncertain about having that much kind of, like, you know, it seemed like an invitation I was not ready to put out there. And wanting to kind of, like, deal with. And so I picked a more conservative character. Whom you still don't know who I'm going to be. We'll see. You'll see.
Ugh. I hate secrets. Okay. So we kind of already touched on this a little bit. I've only got a couple more questions unless people throw things in the chat.
Can I answer the NPC question?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So, you guys know that I love Ray. Ray, for those of you guys who don't know, so Mindy and I first met on a Harry Potter role-playing site 10 years ago. And one of my first characters was Isabella. And Isabella Macias. And she was a Slytherin, and she was a princess of Spain. And it was a whole thing. I played her for 10 years, and when she was 17, she got pregnant. She had twins, Annalena and Areo. And Annalena and Areo, I got to play them growing up, going through school, and kind of like Ray became my new baby, and he became on this site. He became like my extension of me. So when this campaign was becoming in its infancy, I decided that the Empress was going to be Isabella. She was going to be the queen, and she was going to have 3 children, Annalena and Areo, twins, and then a daughter, Alethea. However, I did not introduce Ray until they got to Azmorin for a couple reasons. I didn't know how I was going to play him. I didn't know what class he was going to be. But Ray has very slowly and surely become my, like, I might get shit for this later, but, like, he's been my self-insert. So he's been kind of a way for me to protect the party and also kind of steer them sometimes.
We don't need steering. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? He's got 1,000 options. Which one are we gonna go with? I don't know.
Other NPCs. I love to play Kiyu. I love her. She's amazing. She's so much fun. I feel like she's a lot like me. Very brazen, very just kind of like says whatever she wants.
What? You're not like that at all. What are you talking about?
And of course as a DM, I love to recycle my characters that I've played and put them into the campaign. So Zytharia Calcrest, bringing her into the campaign and introducing you to this demon-looking character who is just as sweet as can be, and she just wants to help you.
That's definitely an interaction that I'm looking forward to, either in IMRP or on stream, of Alexander actually talking with her, because just FYI, Alexander Lightbringer is a character I created to be the foil of Zytharia Kelcrest in our other campaign, in case my character died.
I didn't know that!
That is shared.
Zytharia is a Grave Domain cleric who is super opposed to the undead, and Alexander is a necromancer who's really good at disguising he's a necromancer. He was going to have his minions that they were arcanomechanical constructs, and they were going to have this whole thing where you couldn't tell that they were undead because of his Arcanist's Aura, I believe is the spell, or something along those lines. So he's literally designed to be Zytharia's foil.
Oh my god, I'm freaking out! Holy shit!
I didn't notice it until you said it, but in my head I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh my god!
Really. All right, so no pressure, but I'm gonna need some IMRP or some something.
All right, we're gonna get on that, because I think this is. Oh my god.
Feelings about it right now.
So many feelings.
Okay. Wow.
So I love to play Zytharia. She also was an NPC in the previous campaign that led up to this one. That had KK, CK, but they came in as characters later in the campaign. But it started with Mindy and some other players, and
she's my character's best friend.
She is. Mm-hmm. She is. Bless Andy.
Sweet Andy.
So I've loved kind of recycling old characters. Kiyu came up. There are a lot of people that I'm excited for you guys to meet in the future. There is a certain Cleric of Ayun who I'm looking forward to you guys meeting.
Did we just kill one of those?
We did.
Oh my god!
I'm looking forward to you guys meeting Ever Hassan.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to you guys meeting a lot of Raishar people. And Viaros. No, not Viaros. That's not his name. Viaros. Maybe it's Viaros. Anyway, the dragon who has.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's so much stuff to do.
Badly. I want that to happen so badly.
Sinestra was fun. Sinestra was kind of one of those last minute decisions of how I was going to play her. She just kind of came out the way she did. It was great.
Now she's dead.
Now she's dead. I really liked pretty much every interaction she ever had, though. So it was.
Yeah.
Do you guys want some on that? You want to hear some stuff on that?
Yes.
So,
that's why we're here, right?
She got when it came to Kessra, and I love anyone that does that.
So, Sinestra became very suspicious that her location was becoming compromised. And so she decided it was time to move. And when they planned that move, they did not realize that the reason that she was suspicious is that because somebody was watching her. And somebody was purposely making her feel suspicious so that she would leave the tree.
Frick.
And because Marshall was not with them, they stood no chance when a particular warlock found them. Yep.
Is
Roman a warlock?
Yes. Roman a warlock?
He is. He's multi-classed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He is a fiend. He's made a pact with a fiend, specifically Apollyon.
Right.
So because Marshall was not there to protect them, they stood zero chance. And yeah.
It's a lot of unhappy things that could result from him being a warlock. Andy was a warlock. Warlocks get a lot of really cool features.
Like he's got gate, for his Arcana mystic whatever.
Cool. You know, there's the one.
I mean, he started levitating randomly in the room. I feel like that was a good indicator that, like,
yeah.
He's got power word kill.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
He might have used it on one of the people in that room.
I was kind of wondering where he studied because, I mean, we're almost the same age. And as far as I know, I didn't see him at the Crystal Academy.
Nope, he did not study.
Somebody said, all right, you've been helpful. Here you go.
Somebody said... Okay, I'll give you guys a little bit of background. I'll dig a little bit. Okay, so... His father was a part of the Divine Covenant. And he was recruited by the Silence pretty early. However, when he was recruited by the Silence, he had already been recruited by the Assembly. Because his family was so close to the crown, the corrupted crown, Apollyon got to Roman very early in his life.
That makes sense.
And so he has had access to that modified memory for many years.
A long time.
Which is what he used on Leona.
So, my new question, DM, leaning from that, if you don't mind, was the desire to use Leona as he has for so long, was that planted?
No.
Was that suggested to him by somebody else?
No. He has been fascinated with Leona all on his own.
Is it just because she's pretty?
Yeah. It started out that way, but it's become a little more.
I mean, okay.
Especially...
he's a weird dude.
I'll tell you what, he's been fascinated with Leona for a long time, and it was he who figured out who her parents are.
I thought but he found out through the Silence.
No,
right?
He didn't. He found out through his father's journals. Yep.
Does he know why I was taken? Oh wait, why I was taken from the hull? Okay.
That's it. That's all I got for you.
That was a lot.
That was a lot of feeling.
Next question.
Next question. So, we've kind of already touched on this. I'm actually gonna redirect a little bit. So we just had a lot of things thrown at us. We found out we know where Mondi's mom is. We have a fairly good idea of where Deirdre's mom is. And we just got this bombshell of Sinestra being dead. Annalena and Evan.
What do you guys think happened to Evan?
He's dead.
That possibility hurts my heart. Those of you who don't know, Evan was one of my characters. And much like here, he was smitten with Annalena. But I do, knowing Roman, I do think that that's a very, very real possibility.
Yeah, like from my cynical, kind of like both as Alexander and as Morgan, from my cynical, like, story arc, tinfoil hat type thing, like, I mean, he killed everybody but Annalena, because for one thing, he dated Annalena, or was corrupting her, or whatever it was that he was doing. So she's the only one that he actually cares about. So everyone else is disposable.
I just hope she's still pregnant.
That's a very good question.
Very, because that concerns me, because when I think of Roman, I do think, and Juva just said something in the chat, and this is kind of a thought that I had too. Like, I could also see Roman being dark enough to keep him around, just to be like, I want you to see how this unfolds, kind of thing. I do worry that Annalena is pregnant. I feel like that could go a couple of different ways. One, a very, very obviously tragic way, and another, I just don't see him being okay with her being pregnant with not his kids, especially Evan's. I imagine the history between Evan and Roman is very similar to a history that...
So, I'm going to jump in really quick here, Mindy, not to cut you off, but Roman, this is supposed to get really confusing.
It's going to get really confusing. Bear with us.
Roman is based off of a character that Mindy played on HPH, named Alexander.
So it was really funny. It was really funny earlier, a long time ago, when Morgan, you were making predictions about, you were spouting out theories, and you said a theory about Leona, and Kate said something like, you said something about Leona actually being like tricking everybody and actually being like this really corrupt.
That was actually Juva's theory. Hers is that Juva's theory is that Leona is the coldest motherfucker there is. That she is the ultimate calculating evil.
I'm a bard, so. But it was funny because I am. Because Kate said something like, I would believe it if it wasn't Mindy, and Camille made a comment as like,
the other Kate.
Kate. And Camille made a comment as like, I've RP'd with Mindy for years. Roman was my baby.
Roman was based on
Roman was my baby.
You guys think that Mindy has Mindy herself is very, a great person, but she has this ability to play, especially in text form, literally anyone. And some threads that we had with my character Annalena and her character Alexander Caligaris, Alexander was fucked up. You guys think Roman is bad? Alexander was fucked up. And it goes to show, I will never miss a chance to brag on Mindy, but it just goes to show Mindy's absolute range. And I'm looking forward to getting to see more of that. So anyway.
So I don't think Evan's alive, but I think he could. I think he could be. Again, I think he could be just for the sake of entertainment for Roman. But at this point, I don't know if it's worth it, because I think that also killing him proves a point to Annalena. There's a lot of facets, and I know Roman is very calculating. So
Roman is also very proud.
Yes. Likes to be right.
He thinks he is right about everything. He knows he's right about everything, and you're gonna start to see that come into play.
Wow.
Sorry, guys. I'll stop revealing campaign details. Sorry.
Oh, I love it. Give me all the spoilers. So, again, so we had all these things kind of thrown at us, how we feel it. I think it's pretty obvious that Ray wants to get to Annalena. I know Deirdre's mom has been a constant recurring, we should need to go take care of this. And I know Mondee's mom is in a safer space right now. But where, got a lot of options right now. What are the thoughts that we have?
I don't know. As a DM, I have no idea what you guys are gonna do. I know
what Leona's gonna do.
We know what Leona's gonna do, but you'll have to tune in next week for that.
Yeah, I don't.
Tomorrow.
Shit.
Oh my gosh, it's so close. I'm so glad we're doing this today, so we only have to wait a day to play.
I don't know. Kesser just wants everybody to stay alive at this point. That's all she wants. And apparently it's a really big ask.
Fair.
So, she didn't think that it was that big of a thing to request, but apparently it is. And she doesn't, here's the thing. She's going to avoid making those decisions and let other people make those decisions, because she knows exactly who she could ask for direction. And right now, I think she would rather be dead.
Who's she asking for direction?
She knows that if she really wanted to know what she should do next, she should ask Paylor. Because he's the one that put her in this direction to begin with. He clearly knows what's going to happen, and thus probably has some good suggestions as to what the hell they should do next, or prepared to do, or something. But, no.
I feel like Leona has done more praying for Kessra to Paylor than Kessra has prayed to.
Oh, definitive fact, my friend. She has prayed to Paylor exactly once.
I think it's also interesting to keep... There's an interesting parallel. I find a lot of interesting parallels between Leona and Kessra, and one of them right now is that they have both multi-classed at the same level.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh!
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm
Kessra.
a little ahead.
Is this your second Oracle level? Damn it!
She rewinds a bard level to get the
That's
Oracle
right.
level.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why.
For those of you who don't know, Kessra is now a level 1 fighter.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah.
Around the same time. You guys have multi-class around the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Because
In ways that both make sense for both of you.
Yeah. Kesser's gonna... She knows full well, very, very well, that she is not, as she is, able to do what she is apparently supposed to do. So she's going to do what she knows, which is get better at fighting. So, maybe eventually she'll get some more paladin levels. We'll see. It's gonna have to reflect in character moments.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Kesser's always just been along for the ride. Everybody else has been driving. She's just making sure everybody's limbs are inside the vehicle at all times.
Mindy, do you mind if I ask a quick question?
No, go for it.
What? Are there any... Let's put on our tinfoil hats for a moment. I'm looking at you, Morgan. What are some tinfoil hats you got, conspiracies that you have?
That was actually my next question.
Oh, is it? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Then let me really quick finish the last question. I mean, from Alexander's point of view, like he obviously wants the group to stay alive, if nothing else, because his current flank is in the group, but also because he actually likes these people. Like, they're some of the first people he's met who have kind of accepted what he is. I mean, and he knows that he's living, like, he's basically living in a town that is vehemently opposed to him. So he puts on the fop a lot around Wolfcrest.
He's got to.
But like from a player standpoint, I definitely don't want y'all to visit Ryshar without Alexander, mostly because that's somewhere where Alexander wants to go. But other than that, yeah.
Okay. What are your crazier conspiracy theories, sir?
Yeah, give us some.
You and Juva have some good ones. Feel free to share hers.
Spidiverse drop some knowledge.
Yeah, what you got? What you got for us?
Come on, Juva.
Yeah, we should hear the mind behind
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
the screen. Behind the screen that is not present.
Oh, I heard.
Yeah, you can definitely hear her. My voice, my mic picks up a lot. So,
Any theories, Morgan?
I'm trying to think here. Current tinfoil hat theories. You need to come back to me. I need to think a bit.
Any tinfoil hat theories, KK? CK? Whoever you
I was
are?
going to say, I'm a very different Kate. I am not pink in it. My hair is not pink at all. I kind of think that Maudie is slowly turning into a black dragon.
Ooh, okay.
I think that, I don't know, or at least a black dragon born. But I would not be surprised if, as he continues to do whatever it is that he is doing, he starts growing a second pair of horns somewhere. You know.
What?
Well, I mean, like, somewhere on his fucking head, Morgan. Somewhere on his head.
Everyone.
But no, I do. I think that the scales are not random. And I mean, well, I know the scales aren't random, but I do. I think he's slowly turning into a black dragonborn. And honestly, I just want him to turn into a dragon. I just want somebody to turn into a dragon.
Oh my God, Kate, your obsession with
I
dragons.
know, I love them.
Jokes. It happens already in session 28,
19.
19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The infamous session 19.
Yeah, I turned into a dragon.
Yeah, she does.
I am a dragon.
She is.
That's where we revealed the cold calculating side of Leona.
Mm-hmm.
She's actually a silver dragon.
Good
Anyway,
luck finding
Mindy,
that.
what are some tinfoil hat theories from you?
The only tinfoil hat that I really have is I'm really stuck on because we heard from Xanalor about Kethra's mama,
Mhm.
Ben, kind of having this darker side, and part of me wonders if she is putting on an act, and she's trying to play all the sides and like just sacrificing a lot to do it, including like her partner and her children. It's fine. This is fine. But if she, I don't know. I wonder if she, because I feel like she's been given a pretty dark shade. I know everything's in shades of gray in this campaign, which I love. And her shade of gray at this point is pretty dark because we've heard kind of things from Xanalor about the silence in general, but then specifically Venvir. I'm wondering if that's all like a clever misdirect, and we're gonna get like a glimpse of something really bright to lighten her shade of gray.
That's Mindy talking right there. I can hear that Mindy, always looking for the brightness in people.
So maybe
We talked about it a little bit, and I think that I agree with Mindy. I definitely think that she is playing the long game because she's an Eladrin, and that she's a Fae. Like everything Fae is weird anyway.
Also cannot be trusted, you know. So that's another. So there's like I don't know, man.
You guys also learned that she was with Actaeon.
Yeah.
That's also true.
But because she is an elf, they live for notoriously long times.
So she's got to think the long game.
Their timelines are very different. So
You also don't know how old she is.
Exactly. So I feel like
I just got a question. Someone would like to know how old is Venvir? I just got it. It's so weird.
That's so weird. Venvir is approximately 500 years old.
What?
Yeah.
That's your mom's old.
yeah.
So like she's seen some stuff.
So
How old do elves live?
In regular elves live it to be about 800. Eladrin.
Still got a lot of years to live. Like,
Oh yeah.
and
so like Kate was saying, like the long game. You got to play for the long game here, and like
if she's willing to dedicate her whole life to accomplishing this one thing, then you know, she was gonna outlive her kids anyway.
right. She's gonna like the scope of relation, like when we kind of talked about this, like the parameters of relationships changes a lot, especially when the lifespan is very different.
And especially if they turn out to be half elves, because it's like a drop in the bucket.
Right.
Yeah.
And Xanalor's human.
Xanalor is half elf.
Oh, he is half elf, right? But he visibly
human.
favors human. Okay.
Yeah.
One of his parents was a half elf.
That's
the other
right.
one was a human.
Human.
So, I mean, like some of my theories, I mean, it's definitely like, it's definitely kind of like along these same lines of like long game stuff. Like knowing what the Veldahar is and kind of like the lifespan of people. Like, I mean, some of it is just me not knowing necessarily the lore of the world of like, how long ago did the continent get settled? If it was 1,000 years, that's like a generation before Venvir versus other things, but
What are the conspiracy theories you got in that noggin? Or her noggin?
I can share one.
I know you got lots. I know you got lots.
You have a shared one in the chat.
yeah.
Leona and Roman working together to control the very important people in the party.
I mean, I also have theories of just like, I mean, obviously we kind of talked about it earlier about how important Kesra is, but like Leona and Deirdre keep on kind of, I wouldn't say stealing the limelight, but kind of being the important figure, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can totally
just like them more.
I disagree. I think everybody wants to know more about Kesra, but
there's nothing to know. She's a bitch. There's nothing to know.
I will say,
on the opposite end of that, I would argue that at this point,
think about Mondee's history, though.
Yeah.
Mondee was created.
And he's been really, I mean, like, his character has been very, I mean, other than the being abducted subplot, he has been very kind of just supportive as far as, like, plot goes. That could be very interesting.
I will say, I'm going to make a quick note about Mondee. Mondee is a tribute to another campaign that I'm in, Rise of Tiamat, with a good friend of mine as the DM, and Morgan and I have been playing together for over a year. Mondee is accumulation of me incorporating the Tyranny of Dragons kind of concept into my campaign. Because in my campaign, there is still a plot to raise Tiamat in my campaign, but it's almost like I'm definitely trying to take that campaign and turn it on its head a little bit.
So he is gonna turn into a dragon.
Maybe.
Tell us more.
He does have scales. Maybe he'll get wings next.
Maybe he'll become a half dragon instead of a.
Maybe he'll change his name to Resmir.
There we go. That bitch. Took care of her.
So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
The only thing, I mean, if he turns into Resmir, then it just has to be a frog queen. So.
Of course it does. Sorry, guys.
Any other fun theories?
Not right now.
Can I swing back to the Kestra kind of flying under the radar?
Sure.
Because I think she does, but I think a lot of that's by choice. But I think it's interesting because Kestra very clearly has a very obvious reason why she is involved in this. Deirdre is now like at least a potential member of the Divine Covenant.
No, she's a member of the Divine Covenant.
Okay, that's right. She's gonna take on that responsibility fully when like this other stuff gets clarified.
She'll be in full. She'll have her full responsibility immediately.
Wow,
look at her. She's so fancy. Mondee and Leona are a little less clear because I mean, up until Leona taking oral class, which was a spur of the moment decision, it was not a pre-planned thing. Like Leona is. I'll speak for Leona because I won't speak for Mondee, but Leona is at this point. She's being protected by Kesra, and that's really the biggest importance. But we don't know why.
She's also being protected by the Silence.
She's also being protected by, well, can we say, is she, like, do we really know? Because Roman pulled her into the Silence, but, like, was he really part of the Silence? Like, nobody knows. But, like, I feel like there's an element of, obviously we know there are important pieces to both Mondee and Leona, but I don't think those are as clear at this point as to what the importance is. Leona's just kind of been along for the ride, which is fine. She's totally cool with it. But she hasn't had like some big prophecy about her. she isn't, been invited to this, she was invited to a secret group, but that was because it was her stupid boyfriend.
Kesra will trade you. She'll here, take it. I want it.
Oh, it's
I want
to keep it.
Nope. Please, for love, please.
So I'm interested to see, but I know that there's, I like it because I feel like there's these important elements to each character, and I think it's very clear for a couple of them right now. And I know they're all interconnected, but very different. So I'm excited to see how that kind of continues to unveil itself as we progress. Any other theories? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I can't tell you guys any of my theories because my theories aren't theories.
You can still tell us your theories. I won't be offended.
Go ahead, Morgan.
No, I didn't really have anything. Sorry.
Just umming.
Yeah.
I'll say, there is... Ectirion is not finished with his role in this campaign.
No. Yeah.
I mean, that was... I feel like you made that fairly obvious with the prophecy you told about him of like, oh yeah, he's going to bring around the end of the world.
Yeah, and then we were wondering, by killing him, did we bring about the end of the world? Or by him coming back to life?
Resurrecting him, I think.
There is a way you can resurrect him. There is I will say it is not impossible to resurrect Ectirion.
Yeah,
he's not truly dead.
Lord, that's a lot.
He is mostly dead.
I feel happy.
Like a good MLT. One nice and lean.
And then I've got one more question for us.
1 second. Let me pull something up really quick.
How much you can share.
While she is pulling that up, I have remembered another recent moment that I really liked.
Okay.
And that was when Leona and Kesra spontaneously tried to lie to the Empire.
Yes.
Without even there was no pre-discussion. There was no this is the plan. They just both jumped on it, and it went really well, actually. I mean, I feel like he rolled really high, but I feel like towards normal people, that would have been flawless.
Flawless. And I was this close to modifying his memory.
Oh no, that would have been really bad.
Gosh, Leona would have had a lot of feelings about that one.
I'm sure. I mean, that and that would have been crazy. But Marshall stepping in and being like, "Listen, we gotta get to town because there's demons and they're attacking," and they actually convinced him. And I was just like, "Holy shit!"
So, I'll give you some more hints. I'll give you quick hints. So, the Veldahar is going to be very important.
Book.
The Black Watch along with it. You guys, if you wanted, could go after the Mad Lich King. You guys could. You guys might need to.
I imagine we will at some point.
You will have the chance to end the war.
That's on Leona's to-do list.
It is.
There's a lot of stuff on her to-do list.
Yeah, but see, to end the war, Leona, does not necessarily mean peacefully.
I'm very specific.
You guys might have the chance. You guys might decide to go rescue the Empress, which means you guys would go to the Hells.
So, yeah, on that particular subject, obviously you've got Deirdre going Horizon Walker, but depending on leveling, etc., you've always got a wizard who can probably cast Plane Shift, depending on the level.
Oh, wow. Oh.
I don't care. Depending on how you guys do this, if you guys hunt down the Veldahar, we might have a crossover episode with our offline game.
How is that gonna work?
Very carefully, because Mindy plays a character in each of them.
And they're very different. I mean, it'll be really easy to differentiate.
How does the offline group What do they have to do with the Beldahar?
Mm.
Mindy, that's a face that says that you know.
I really don't, though. I wish I did, but I don't.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all I'll say.
Okay, so my last question for us tonight to kind of end with is I'm going to ask for questions, but these are questions that we know we either hope to find an answer for at some point, or we know they're going to happen. We know we're going to figure out the answers, but you're looking forward to knowing the answers or finding them out at some point. So these are not questions that can be answered necessarily. So DM, there's like absolutely no pressure to throw any random bits. You can, we're not offended at all. But these are just questions that we have and are excited to find the answers to. We're just still like curious to see in general. So I can start because I have a couple written down.
Go for it.
So we found out earlier that the war had, like, we kind of got this impression because who is the Oracle that I cannot remember her name for the life of me right now?
Andromeda Skyseeker.
Andromeda. So we kind of got this idea early, and we I guess we don't necessarily have it confirmed, but we had this idea early that the war for some reason had to happen. Like, it had to happen, and I'm still wondering why it had to happen.
I have a conspiracy theory about that.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, great, go for it. Oh, I'm nervous. You're chewing so aggressively. I'm scared.
I've had this theory since like the beginning. Camille has heard this theory. That Andromeda saw that the only way to that one of the best ways to either prevent or maybe not indefinitely, but to at least realistically prevent Apollyon from getting what he wanted was to split up the resources of the Empire and prevent him from being able to, as the Empress, control the whole of Zenmaria. So I think that she said, as long as he can't do these things, the world will have a chance. But the best way to do that, the best way to ensure that he cannot have these specific resources, is to have a civil war. And I think that's what she told Soren in his dream to go tell Theo. I think that she said, if you go tell him that he needs to do this and convince him that he needs to declare independence, then I will give you more information that you want on your sisters. Joke's on you, you had at least one of them.
So sad.
Next to you for 3 days. But yeah, no, I think that the Civil War was purposely orchestrated to keep power out of Apollyon's hands so that whatever needed to happen could happen.
So what was that thing that needed to happen? I guess that's my question. Because I agree.
Yeah.
I do think that a lot of that was orchestrated, but so why did it need to happen? I guess is my bigger question. And then my other question, this one's a little bit smaller and a little bit like we might know the answer sooner rather than later, is we know Deirdre's dad does not remember who she is. So I'm wondering if her mom is going to remember who she is.
That's a good question. What do you think?
Okay, so here, my initial go-to is no. But I am wondering if there was a little bit of interference run with Dad somehow. It's a lot of interference, though, so I don't know how that would work when Mom was taken. I don't know exactly what that would look like.
What if she was taken before he had he had the chance to cast a spell?
You remember it was Ectiarn that removed Deirdre's memory from everyone.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So
what if she was gone?
And you remember that Ectiarn knew that her mother had been taken. And who had taken her.
So she should probably remember Deirdre.
Maybe.
Oh, that's sad then. Poor Dad doesn't remember anything.
Is it sad if you don't remember?
Well, it's sad for everybody else.
They're still missing out.
What about you, Morgan? What are things that you're looking forward to learning in the campaign?
I'm looking forward to learning more. I mean, obviously, just learning more about the characters, but I want to know. It's a tough question.
Yeah.
I want to know what. Yeah, I'm sorry.
While you think,
Yeah.
I want to know why Maudie was created. That's what I want to know.
You don't already?
Well, I have my theories, right? But I want to like why he was created and if that purpose is still fulfillable by him, or if it's currently being fulfilled by him via, scale arm. I want to know all that. I want to know that stuff. I want to know that was like the big thing, like at the forefront was like he was made, therefore thing happened. I also want to know if Kesra's gonna have to personally eliminate every single member of the Black Watch, because I don't think they're big, they hit real hard, they got 5 legendary attacks, like legendary actions, like that's terrifying and scary, and I don't even know if she could do it as a level 20, so I really hope she didn't have to personally kill every single one of them, because that would be bad.
Something that I am looking forward to in the future, or that I hope that we will get to see in the future, is a Kesra and Soren interaction, because Soren has been actively looking for his sisters.
Yep.
And that's very different than the situation with Xanalor. So I'm curious to see how that interaction would go. Also, I want to know who the other sister is.
I was about to say, I am looking forward to Kesra discovering who her sister is.
It's gonna
Does Kesra really care though?
no. I feel like I
think everybody. I think it'll be when it happens. It'll be a big moment, though.
Oh, I'm sure, but I'm torn between
care for you.
Thank you.
She cares for all the things that you don't care for you.
I care. Okay, I care. It's like I really also want that Soren Kesra conversation to happen, but I also really don't, because it's clear that Soren wants something on a completely different track than what Kesra wants. And she knows this. And she has no desire to switch lanes. And so that's going to be a really painful conversation.
What if Soren already knows?
Well, then that's easy. But it's not gonna, if he...
if he knows now or if he knew before.
But what if he already knows who Kesra is to him? What if he knew from the time he met her?
Well, then maybe it's a little bit easier because he wasn't creepy about it. But maybe you
guys should go back and watch. Maybe you guys should go back and watch Soren when Soren left.
Okay. But if they have that conversation, it's going to be a very painful conversation because it's like
family drama.
Yeah, she doesn't have any previous drama with him because he had nothing to do with why.
Right, and that's kind of why I'm curious to see what that would look like.
I will say,
I feel like it's a little less closed door than Xanalor. I feel like Xanalor is very much a closed door. The lock is locked right now.
She might fist bump him.
I'm gonna change the conversation really quick because I wanna something that I'm excited for. Apollo Lightbringer has a very interesting role to play coming up. in the next 6 months of the campaign. Not in character, out of character. No, not out of character, like IRL game time, but in character. Some things are going to be happening where Apollo Lightbringer is going to be very important.
What does
Oh,
that
gosh.
mean?
I don't know. I'm like trying to remember all the things, like all the stuff.
This is not something that you guys know about Apollo Lightbringer. I'll tell you. He was engaged to be married.
To who?
Celestia Vanderborn Delaney. The King Theo's older sister.
But he's.
And she died when the devil incursion happened in Azmorin 15 years ago.
Ooh, he's a little salty about that still, I imagine.
There's a reason I reached out to Apollo.
Apollo hates fiends. Hates them.
Okay.
Like, Celestia and Apollo were like one true love. Like, since they were kids. Like, the best of friends, like soulmates. In fact, he is not married. And he's like, what, almost 40?
Getting close to it, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's like
35.
37, I want to say.
Somewhere in there. But yeah.
Yeah, 35 and 37, I think.
So, Apollo Lightbringer has a bigger role to play, and I'm excited for you guys to learn what that role is.
Yes, I am too.
No.
So for me, I've got a couple things. Some of them are fairly selfish, but I'm excited to see either the train wreck or Leona's dream come true of the relationship between Alexander and Kesra. Because that's just about it could totally like end amicably, but probably not.
What does that mean?
I mean, like, I don't know. We'll see. Like, because it's going to be played out. So
I thought we were on the same page.
We are on the same page.
Are the
But
characters?
that doesn't mean that things don't change.
That's true. Nope.
You know,
That's
like
true.
right now they've known each other for a month. It's very casual.
Yeah.
Depending on how much Alexander keeps on showing up, either it could be like, "Hey, I really like you," and Kesra's like,
He gave you a kiss goodbye.
I think you're chill. I think cool.
I think you're cool, bro.
Right.
Cool, bro. Don't we have a meme for this? Camille? Did you
So
make
like,
a meme for
so it can go that direction, or it can totally go to like, "Hey, I found this other chick, and it's all chill, and it's just kind of a dissolving."
It doesn't have to be a chick. That's it.
Right? Doesn't. But
What about Alexander and Xandrin?
that's definitely an interesting avenue that's happening.
It is.
For the record, I found the meme that me and Camille made, which is alternative responses to "I love you," and one of them is finger guns.
Send it.
That's what.
Send it to me right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
it's finger guns, and also, if only there was someone out there who loved you. Is one of the
Send
ones.
it to me right now.
Sending it.
one of the things I'm looking forward to / questioning about is I guess this is more like a wish list for me than anything, and not so much questions right now. So I can't think of any really great questions, but wish lists.
Wish lists are good.
Wish lists are good.
I can't wait for the group to visit the capital.
Oh yeah.
Like to be in, like, they've been in, I mean, you know, Wolfcrest and Azmorin are big cities, but from the way you've described it, Camille, like the capital is like, we're talking like New York compared to like Akron or some shit like that versus what we've been dealing with, or like Tokyo compared to Akron, where it's just phenomenally huge versus like, oh yeah, no, it's a big city.
Oh man.
What else? I think there was one other thing. I'm I am definitely questioning where Deirdre is going. Like, what Deirdre's. She's had such a roller coaster ride so far this campaign that I'm like, what is this woman going to do? So.
I'm also looking forward to seeing where Deirdre goes.
I'm looking very much forward to. I'm really excited about all these characters and where they're going to end up. I mean, we're only level 8. There's a lot of space to go. And I mean, obviously, I'm very excited to see where Kestra goes because I know where I want her to go.
Right.
Whether or not she actually goes there depends on a lot of things. But I'm excited to see how or if she gets there. I'm excited to see Leona turn all of this heartbreak into power. Unlimited power. And then, just be completely terrifying with a smile on her face. I'm ready for that to happen.
Instead of
Mindy?
instead of the dark.
Anyway, Mindy has that creepy smile where you're terrified to know what she's thinking, and
usually it's pretty harmless, but
yeah.
For now.
What's the quote? Instead of a dark lord, you would have a queen as brilliant and terrible as the sun.
I'm ready for Deirdre to get to the point where she is happy with herself. That might be a long time coming, but I'm ready. I'm look forward to that arc.
I feel like that arc has already kind of started. I feel like this training has really been a Kickstarter for that process for her.
And I'm really excited to see Maudie take ownership of who he is and what he is, and turn what he's been given into what he wants.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for all of these arcs. And I'm also very excited to see Ray, see what's going to happen with Fancy Pants, how he's going to deal with learning that everybody he's ever truly loved is either dead or in the hells. That's fun. Or possibly somewhere worse than the hells, depending on what Annalena's been dealing with. And then also, his entire kingdom being ripped to pieces intentionally to keep somebody else from ripping it to pieces. But
yeah.
I'm very excited to see how he grows and changes from all of this strife. Because, digging holes builds character.
That's what we learned in that book.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to see what kind of person he ends up being. And where he ends up.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the Empire is getting back together, y'all. If we say, hey, guys, you did great. There were devils. Like, you guys did great. Now, can we just, put it all back together? The devils are gone. It's fine.
Yeah.
You can stop the war.
That's something that Ray thinks about every day. He's like, I'm supposed to be king. I'm supposed to be emperor. Emperor of what?
Yeah.
There's no empire.
No. Yeah. I mean, Zendaria has a king. He has a king? So technically, he could still be a king.
I mean, your city's still pretty big.
Much smaller portion of land.
That was also one.
Go ahead, Morgan.
I was looking forward to was seeing some more of the kind of global geopolitics, because we've seen what is, as far as I can tell, a primarily human empire that occupies the majority of the main continent. But looking at the realm map that we have in the Discord chat, there's some other lands, and they obviously have some other shit going on. So,
yes, they do. I'm also looking forward to it.
Gonna be a good time.
Yeah. So, guys,
do you want to add something to the Empire Ray conversation?
Well, Ray never wanted to be king. Ray actually asked his mom if he could seed. If he could give like transfer over to Annalena. His dad, the man he knew as his father, convinced him not to from a young age. But Ray's had a lot of heartbreak already, and not even in this campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Ray's father died in front of him. He fell in love, and she was killed. He fell in love again to an emotionally abusive man, manipulative man. He was kidnapped from a young age and held for ransom, and tortured. He joined the military and went through all of that hell.
Yeah.
And that's just before the campaign started. And since then, he has discovered his mother is an imposter. He has met his father and lost his father. He has found the people who killed his lover. He has been dealing with unrequited love. His strong feelings for Leona that will not go away. He's died. He's had a rough bit, which is funny because, like, on HBH he had a rough bit too. He's an alcoholic for a reason. I'm excited to see where he goes and what he does and how his relationship with the party changes over time. Because, like, what if he decides to take his place? What if he decides to become king? What if, I don't know. We don't know. Right now he doesn't have any plans, but...
Alexander will actively help him rally the troops because it's going to help the resistance.
Yeah, he's got a lot of decisions to make, and right now he's really not making any. So...
Which is still a decision.
Which is, as Dotrop pointed out, still a decision. I think right now we gotta cut Ray some slack because he's dealing with some shit and he's not ready for any of it.
Yeah. I mean, one to talk about not making any decisions, man. Like, was not a criticism.
It was just a.
Of course, and so he's got some shit, and I think that being with this party is really helping. To be honest, I think that where he is right now is I think it's the best place for him.
Getting drunk as shit and walking upstairs with Kestra.
She struggles, but then also struggling with his own armor. You know, it's like a great time.
I will say these are probably his first real friends in a long time.
We're pretty great.
Very long time since he was a boy.
We're fantastic.
Y'all are pretty amazing.
I feel like we're a lot of people's first real friends in a long time. Believe it or not, Kestra has had real friends before, but I would argue that, and Maudie probably also did. No, he did.
Maudie did have a lot of friends,
yeah. But like Deirdre probably didn't have, at least not for the last 10 years. She had one and a horse.
A Pegasi.
Excuse me, wingy horse. A wingy horse. Leona
horse is smarter than you are.
I mean, yes. Leona I'm sure, didn't really...
Leona's talked about that. She didn't have real friends until...
I had people that I thought were my friends until I found what real friends were.
Yeah. We're Alexander's friends. We're just everybody's friends. That's the new name of our group.
Everyone's
Leona's excited to know what a real friend feels like, so now she can be a better friend.
I mean, Alexander had real friends, too, before he went to the academy. Like, he was like a super social person.
Right, yeah.
But then shit changed. He's like, shit, I gotta become a recluse. So it's been like 7 years since he's like interacted with anybody in a real fashion.
Yeah, so lots of good things to look forward to. I think we're probably gonna wrap it up for tonight. So if we can just go around, we can start with Camille. We can sign off for Fourth Watch this week.
Hi, I am Camille. I'm the Dungeon Master here on Open for Adventure. You can find me on Twitter at CamilleDoesDND. Please give the channel a follow at Open4Adventure. And don't forget, give us a follow on here. It doesn't cost you anything at all. And it helps us out.
It does, it's true.
Morgan?
Hey, I am Morgan. I occasionally play Alexander Lightbringer. You can find me on Instagram at Revenant Ceramics.
Hi, I'm Kate. I play Kesra on a daily basis. Hello. And you can find me on Twitter and everywhere important at Very Pale Ale.
And I was your Fourth Watch host. You can find me on Twitter at MKAY1713. And you can catch the live stream tomorrow at 6:30 Central Standard Time to find out what happens next with this crazy party bandwagon party bus.
Thank you so much, Mindy, for taking on this huge responsibility of becoming our Fourth Watch host. Please give her some love in the chat. Please tell her how much of an amazing job she has done.
Woo!
It was lots of fun.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
So tune in tomorrow and then be on the lookout for our next Fourth Watch, and I guess we'll chat with you guys later.
Guess what I'm about to do?
Roll the credits.
Reddit.
Right? Was I right?
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here we go. All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.